Hey, this is H1. We're going to be running it back with another episode talking about chess knowledge, chess wisdom, and chess understanding again. Today, we are going to be going over a game, a very interesting game, by Fabio Caruana, teaching us how to play the Sicilian Defense. And not in any line, not some boring line like the Rosalimo or the Khan variation, but we are going to be going over the Accelerated Dragon. Very energetic, a lot of tactics flying, a lot of attacking moves, and you're gonna see somebody give up. This is not no pity party, all right? We're gonna see somebody get demolished in front of your eyes, in front of hundreds, thousands of viewers right now. Let's get started in this game. Let me get this board up right quick. All right, got the board up, got my trusty stick. Let's get the teaching. In this game, it started with this move, E4, and then Black did this move, C5. Now, C5 initiates the Sicilian Defense. When your opponent does the move C5, just know that your opponent wants to fight, and they want to fight on their own level, in their own round. Black can dictate the variations that they want to go down. They can go down knight or the Khan variation, and White has the option of making it a open Sicilian or keeping it closed and boring. Like, you never know what White is going to be doing here. Just know it's going to be a very contentious type of game. Now, after this move C5, which is threatening this like D4 square, and remember, and this is for all the beginners too, this pawn on E4 is threatening a D5 and F5 in this position. After this move C5, knight to F3, and then G6. With this move G6, it initiates the hyper accelerated dragon variation. Why so? Because we have D4, which initiates the open Sicilian. C takes on D4, knight takes on D4, and then we have this move, bishop to G7, fianchettoing on the king side. Now, with this fianchetto, this bishop is basically the dragon's mouth. How so? Well, this bishop is raining down fire along this diagonal, and you're going to see why that bishop is really important, because usually the white side, they go queen side castling. If they go king side castling, just know that they're a coward and they shouldn't be playing chess. Now, with this move, knight takes on D4, and then bishop G7, that bishop is putting pressure on that knight on D4. White continues, knight to C3, knight to C6, putting more added pressure on that knight on D4, where it has to do something, right? Or White has to defend. Knight to C6, a lot of pressure. Bishop E3, nice defensive move while still developing pieces. Beginners should not forget, activity is king on the chessboard. After bishop to E3, knight to F6, putting pressure on that E4 pawn, and then we have this move, bishop to C4. Now we got this pressure along this diagonal, and this is one of the weakest squares on the board, so you always have to be like super careful of any sacrifices on that F7 square. Now, after this move, a bishop to C4, castle king side. Castling is really important, king safety. Now that rook is defending that pawn. But then White did this move, bishop to B3, and you might be thinking, why didn't they just castle? Just bear with me right quick. And usually you want all your pieces protected anyway. And why not just already put the bishop to B3, so there's not moves like knight to E5 attacking the bishop very readily. You're gonna see knight to E5 is one of those moves that Black usually do on the Black side, all right? After bishop B3, D6, because they need to keep on developing pieces. They need to keep on going forward. And then we have this move F3, solidifying the E4 pawn, and they're both doing moves very accurately. And this is all book theory. This is all theory. This is all stuff that you should know and understand and remember. Remember these moves. This is the position that you want to see here. Queen to A5, putting pressure on that knight. Now that knight can't move because that queen is pinning that knight to the king on E1. That's why White does this move, queen to D3. And then after queen D3, you might be wondering, okay, we move the queen before castling king side. What is White doing here? What is Jan Nepal's plan? Well, Jan Nepal's plan is actually to castle queenside. And when you castle on opposite sides of the board in chess, that initiates a war. When you castle on opposite sides on the board in chess, that initiates a war. All right, remember that concept, because White's main goal is going to be pushing all the pawns on the king side where the king is on G8. And black's main goal is trying to form some attack on the queen side, push your pawns down, sacrificing pieces, etc. There's two ways to attack a castled king, is by sacrificing a piece, doing a piece attack, or doing a pawn storm. Those are the only two ways. Now, after this move, queen to d3 in this position, we have not the best move. Knight to e5. The computer wants black to do this move, knight to d7, but I digress. Knight to e5 attacking the queen. The queen has to move, which it did. Queen to d2, and then we have a bishop to d7, initiating that connection of rooks here. Connection of rooks is still really important because one of these rooks have to go on the c file to attack this king, which that king inevitably queenside castle. With this position, white just initiated a war. Now, after queenside castling, rook f to c8, there's a lot of tension in this position. And this is a accelerated dragon position. After this move, rook f to c8, there's a lot of tension here. And sometimes you gotta just pause in the middle game to get a clear plan of what you're doing. Because what black wants to do is attack this king on c1, and what white wants to do is eventually attack this king on g8. And the plans is very simple for either side. You know, sometimes rook sacrifices on c3, sometimes a6, b5 happens here. And maybe this knight hops to the c4 square. All those moves is really good for the black side, and we're gonna see how Fabiano Caruana does it. Now, white, on the other hand, maybe they like push up the pawn on the h file. They do bishop to h6, get rid of that bishop. That bishop is a key defender for the black side here. And maybe after you get the h file open with the rook on h1 and the queen combination on that h file, then they can get a quick checkmate. Now, after this move, rook f to c8, king b1, not an option. Always do king b1 to get off the c file and out of the threats. And then black did this move. Finally, knight to c4. This knight on c4 is attacking this queen on d2 and potential sacrifices on the b2 square. So we have to be very careful where we put our pieces at. And that's why white just decided to take that knight on c4, because that sacrifice knight takes on b2 would have been very crucial, because that knight on c3 would have been undefended and attacked by two different pieces, the queen on a5 and the rook on c8. Now, bishop takes, rook takes, and it finally happened. White is going on with their position, with their plan, with attacking, pawn storming, with the move g4. Jan Nepal decided to push Gary. What does black do in this position? Well, we are on a race too. Their race is to attack our king, we're racing to attack theirs, and that's why we do this move of bishop to e6. Bishop to e6 is eventually planning on attacking this a2 pawn on this bishop on e6 is eventually going to be setting up combinations on this a2 pawn. You want the pieces to be directed towards where your opponent's king is, especially if you already have the idea, if you already have the plan to attack them. Now, bishop to e6, knight to b3, defending, but too passive. Wrong move. It's an inaccuracy, not a mistake. But that knight is attacking the queen has to move and move to a6. And then what do we have next here? Bishop to d4. Bishop to d4. Now this knight can't move without this bishop exchanging pieces with us. We don't want to give away that bishop. That bishop is our dragon breath. And that bishop comes in clutch when we're attacking their king. Now, after bishop to d4, not the best move, because we have rook a to c8. And then Jan Nepal did a very silly threat. Can you find it here? He did a very simple threat. Why am I telling you to find it? It's white's move. Find black's move after this move g5. What is black's move after this move g5? Can you guess? Everything is going well. And then black does a brilliant move. What happens after this move g5? Double question mark. Well, this exciting move, knight takes on e4 happens. After knight takes on e4 in this position, everything is lost. It's already minus 1.89. Fabiano Caruana is showing us a masterclass on how you should be attacking. Now, if bishop takes on g7, this knight can just take on d2, which is checking the king on b1. And plus, everything is being attacked, but this queen is being attacked. So that queen has to move somewhere. Or does it? What happens after f takes on e4? you can just assume that this was a mistake or a trap, but actually it was the best move. You got to take the piece. What was the plan after sacrificing that knight for the pawn? Bishop takes on d4. Other exciting move. And then after bishop takes on d4, knight takes on d4, and then another move, rook takes on c3. Multiple sounds is gonna be played on this soundboard, all right? Even Gotham Chess. Oh, that's not Gotham Chess. That is another song. That is not Gotham Chess, all right? Rook takes on c3 in this position was played. Rook takes on c3. Still winning, and it's gonna break open the king side. This bishop is open on the a2 square. Queen is threatening to take on a2. And yeah, white has a lot of threats. They're already losing. a3. After this move, a3, we have another move, which is a brilliant move. Queen to c4. Queen to c4. Brilliant move, threatening queen to a2. Check, and then checkmate with queen to a1. And it's a brilliant move because that rook can still be captured. That rook stays there for most of the game. What happens? Jan Nepal does this move b3, attacking the queen, preventing that queen from ever going to a2 and checkmating. And so, yeah, we're gonna have to put the queen on a safe square, which that's what happens. Queen c5, and all the threats is still here. The threats isn't going away. Just know when you're attacking the opponent, always threaten something to make them respond. We always want to keep the initiative going, not giving our opponent time to like defend and get their pieces set up to attack us. Just know the opponent failed at attacking our king because usually white has an attack on the king side and black has an attack on the queen side, but not here. White did something wrong by allowing this sacrifice. Knight takes on e4 here. After this move, we got rook to c1. And yeah, queen takes on a3. Queen takes on a3. Has to do it, all right? Have to do this move, rook to c1, because just making sure none of these sacrificial moves happens here, like rook takes on c2, rook takes on b3. We got all of our pieces working with the black pieces, and there is no way that white is gonna get out of this. And it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. But when you're in a position like this, and Jan Nepal did this, you gotta keep on defending. You never know if your opponent knows how to play chess or knows how to finish you, especially for all you beginners. Y'all can easily like swindle the opponent into losing here. But grandmasters, not so much, I will say. After h4, Jan Nepal thought that he still had an attack here. Maybe he's gonna get h5, open up the h file, queen h2, and then they can get a checkmate. But no, Valmir Caruana kept the pressure going, especially with this move, rook to c5, rook 8 to c5, threatening rook to a5 here, in checkmate along the a file. What did white do? The only move in this game actually ended rook c to f1. And you might be thinking, okay, rook to a5 then. Okay, rook to a5. Well, why not? Why not? And yes, if you go rook to a5, queen takes here, and yeah, it might not be the best idea to do rook to a5 at this moment. That's why he moved the rook to f1. But black did not settle. He's not gonna do a slow move right now. This is the problem that most players have. You do a slow move like king to g7 at this moment when you should be sacrificing pieces still. And that's why black finished off the game with this move, bishop takes on b3. After bishop takes on b3, white resigned. And black was happy. He started celebrating. He did his thing. You know what I mean? He was on his Final Fantasy VII stuff. And this wasn't even the best move of the position, but it was the most crucial move, and you're sacrificing pieces. It's the most beautiful move that you could play. So why not play it like this? Hopefully you learned something on why the Sicilian Defense accelerated dragon variation is very potent. And hopefully, you know, you like this video. And actually, let me get this board off the screen so that you know that I'm serious. You need to like this video and subscribe, all right? If you want to see more content like this. And if you have any other openings or games that you want me to go over, put it in the comments down below. I'm trying to help you out for free. Keep on fighting till the end, staying focused in chess and in real life too. Peace.